Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. My name's Baron, and today we are talking about the 5 must-have accessories for all your mandolin playing needs. Before we even get to accessories, you're going to need a mandolin. So check out the link in the description of this video to my gear guide. It's going to have everything you're looking for. Even if you don't have a mandolin yet, I have my top mandolin picks as well as this kind of pick, as well as any of the other accessories that I'm talking about today. Speaking of picks, the first accessory in my book that's necessary for playing the mandolin is a flat pick. Now, figuring out what pick you like the best is a very personal process. It takes some time. I always say that it's a great opportunity to spend, $10-15, get a bunch of different picks in shape and sizes. You don't have to get anything expensive, and just figure out what you like. Do you like a classic guitar shaped pick, or do you like this more kind of large triangle size? Do you like a thin pick? Do you like a thick pick? My general recommendation is a lot of mandolin players do love this kind of large triangle at about 1.5 millimeter, 1.4, somewhere in there. This is a pick from Primetone. They're pretty inexpensive. Again, the link in the description will show you a couple different pick choices. That's a good place to start, but ultimately it comes down to the player, what kind of music you want to play, the sound of your mandolin, how the pick interacts with the instrument. If you've got a really dark sounding mandolin, maybe a thinner, pointier pick will brighten it up a little, and vice versa. Next most important thing in my book is a strap on the mandolin. Straps are super important because they hold up the mandolin so you don't have to. I find that a lot of folks, when they're not using a strap, are putting a lot of kind of energy into holding the instrument up with their left hand and their right arm, and it gets a little ungainly. I've never found it super comfortable to play without a strap. I know some people do it and get away with it, but for me, strap is an absolute necessity. Now, there's tons of different kinds of straps out there. You can use something as simple as a shoestring wrapped around the mandolin. You can also go as big as a big, thick, wide, padded guitar strap. It doesn't really matter, whatever is your preference. Again, I like to go somewhere in the middle. This is, I think, a D'Addario or Planet Waves, just simple mandolin strap. It's probably 3/4 of an inch wide and not very thick, just a simple piece of leather, not expensive, and it really makes the mandolin playing experience a lot more comfortable and will really improve your technique. Now, ultimately, with a mandolin and a pick and a strap, you could play for years without problem and be a happy camper until you break a string. So you're gonna need an extra set of strings in case you break one. Strings do wear out. They do kind of go out of tune over time and get rusty and all sorts of terrible things. They usually last quite a while, but you never know when you're gonna break one, so it's good to have an extra set of strings in the case. Once again, like all these accessories, string choice is a very personal choice. I recommend people start with a medium gauge set of phosphor bronze mandolin strings. I always recommend D'Addario EJ74s because they're readily available. You can find them in most music shops, but you can also experiment with different materials that strings are made out of, whether they're coated or not, different gauges. There's lots of different stuff to play around with string brands and materials, so it's a fun process if you're looking for a new sound on your instrument. Next most important accessory, and maybe tied with that extra set of strings, is a tuner. Once again, there's tons of different kinds of tuners. This is a little tuner from D'Addario. I think it's the Micro NS or something like that. There's also snark tuners, which are a little bigger, a little easier for me to see, or you can get an app on your phone. This app is called Tuner T1, but there's tons of free apps that'll help you tune your mandolin. It's a great way to be able to be more in tune, and the more in tune you are, the better you sound. Different tuners have different strengths and weaknesses. These clip-on tuners are great because they clip onto the instrument and they pick up the vibrations through the instrument rather than using a microphone to pick up the sound. So if it's really a noisy environment and there's lots of other instruments, you can tune your mandolin without your tuner picking up everything that's going on around you. I actually, while I've used those for years, I've really kind of trended more towards a smartphone tuner. I find them to be a little more accurate. You've got a bigger display, it's a little easier to see, but it does pick up everything around you, so it can be harder to tune in a really noisy environment. Number 5 is a case. I think cases are super important for mandolin. Again, cases come in all shapes and sizes. You can get something thin. You can get essentially a glorified dust cover for the mandolin, a little thin gig bag. I don't love those because while they might keep some rain and weather off the instrument, they're not going to protect the instrument if you're slinging it around on your back around town. You can also get cases that are really expensive. You can spend thousands of dollars on cases for flight cases and really bespoke fancy leather cases. It's a wide world of options. I, again, love to go somewhere in the middle. For about $100, you can get a great hardshell case or a rigid foam kind of lightweight case. Again, links in the description for all of these accessories, and you can peruse some of the options. Cases are really important because I find the peace of mind and the safety that you get bringing your mandolin around is going to make you feel more comfortable leaving the house with your instrument rather than always leaving it at home because you're worried something might happen to it. The more you have your mandolin with you, the more likely you are to play it. The more you play it, the better you get. The better you get, the more fun you have. So having a case and feeling secure about traveling with your instrument is really important in my book. Just because I'm on a roll here, I'm going to give you a bonus 6th accessory that I think is really important, and that is a stand or a wall hook for your instrument. You can see over here, I've got an instrument on a stand. I've got tons of instruments on racks back here. You can get really small mandolin stands. They come in all shapes and sizes. Again, I think stands are really important if you can get your mandolin out of its case while it is at home, and it just takes a little bit of that friction away from, having to open the case and get the mandolin out and get the pick and then you're ready to go. If you have the instrument in a safe place, but on a stand, or even better, a wall hook. I don't actually have any wall hooks on the wall because I'm renting and I don't want to put a bunch of holes in the wall. But if you're somewhere where you feel comfortable putting some hooks on the wall for your instruments, that's a great way to get them up in a safe, out-of-the-way place where pets won't knock them over. But ultimately, whether it's a stand or a wall hook, it's really a great way to have the instrument out. It's visible, so you can just wander by and say, oh, hey, there's that mandolin. Pick it up, strum it a little bit. Again, it removes so much friction from the playing experience and being able to pick up the instrument just for a minute or two. It's an awesome way to continue to find it easier and easier to put your hands on the instrument and play a little bit every day. And again, the more you can play, the better you get. So those are my 5, actually 6 now, favorite accessories for the mandolin. But I would love to hear from you. What are your favorite instrument accessories? Please leave a comment down below. And if you're interested in looking at more of these accessories, again, check out that link in the description of the video where I have a link to everything I've talked about today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.